Good morning, good night, or good evening, everyone. And today we are bringing you Gorizia. Gorizia, the Tier 7 Premium Italian Cruiser. Now, this is the only other Italian cruiser besides the Duca di Abruzzi. And you cannot get the the Gorizia. The only place you can get it, it's not in the premium shop, it's not in the armory. The only place you can get it is in these containers. Right here. There's Gorizia right there. And I'll go to the armory so you can at least see. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, as you can see, Gorizia is not on the list of ships in the armory, because we would have passed it by now. So yeah, you can only get Gorizia from the Tier 7 community token containers. So hopefully you get lucky to get it, because it's a good ship. Now, you cannot, without economic flag or anything like the contributor flag, 5% to credits, 55 to ship XP, 65 to commander. With the clan, 100% to free XP. Armor layout, 16mm bow. Belt armor, 150 and the 30mm side. And then some plating on 25mm plating. And then it's 16mm bow, or aft. And then her deck at 25mm. So she is fairly squishy. She is overmatchable by basically everything you will face. So keep that in mind. And we'll show you the citadel of it. That's her citadel. As you can see, it sticks way above the waterline. So very easy to hit. Survivability wise, she gets 37,100 and a 31,100 HP with a 19% torpedo reduction. Average, not great. The guns are actually fairly decent. So she gets 8 203mm guns and 2 guns in each turret, and 2 guns and 4 turrets. They have a 15 second reload time, 9-second switch time with gun feeder, 26-second 180, 130 max dispersion, and the range not the greatest at 15.6. So I recommend, if you have Sanzanetti, put them on there because you'll get a little bit more range. Max sap damage, if you get a Citadel or something, is 5,050. Armor pan 54 millimeters, and a velocity of 900. Same with the AP, 900 velocity with a 4,800 max AP damage. So fairly respectable guns. Secondaries, she gets these 100mm guns, and she gets 4 on each side, so 8 of them. And she gets 16 guns, but 4 turrets on each side. 6-second reload, 6-kilometer range, 1,500 max damage, 6% of fire. Not the best armor penetration at 17mm, and the velocity is not great. So it's not going to be horrendously bad. Airstrike, she gets 6 kilometers, 2 flights in an aircraft, and 1 aircraft in each with 1 bomb. 3,400 for 1 bomb, so not the best against subs. AA, non-existent at, well, 2 or 4 13.2mm machine guns. Then she gets Vickers machine guns here. 4 Vickers machine guns, and then she gets those 100mm secondary AA mounts. Continuous damage 1, 18, shell explosion 1, 1120. Not bad on the explosion part, but Range at 4.6 is pretty pitiful. So most CVs will be able to strike you with impunity. Our maneuverability wise, actually very decent. 33 knots, 580 turning circle, and a 7.8 rudder shift. So really respectable. Concealment, 12.2. Okay, let's get into the bit in the equipment. So, equipment-wise, main armaments 1, damage control system 1, aiming systems, and then steering gears. So you can get that steering gears or your rudder shift down a little bit more. Consumable-wise, with the full superintendent, she gets 3 charges of exhaust smoke, 5 spotter planes, and then she gets this wonderful hydro. Now, this is German hydro here. It is one of the few ships that get this kind of hydro. 4-kilometer detection on torps, 6-kilometer detection on ships, 2 for subs, but she gets 4 of these charges. So really great if you want to push smoke and push a cap. Exterior-wise, well, that's her camo. It's a very nice-looking camo. And then you have, like, the collection. You can put 2 flags on there. But, I mean, like you say, if you don't have a contributor, military month contributor flag like I do, you're going to have reduced income and everything. The build, typical Italians, gun feeder, consumable enhancements, priority target, superintendent, concealment, adrenaline rush, and then heavy sapping HE. And then I would go with survivability expert also. So that's how I would run an Italian ship. Just because that makes the most sense. And that build will work on a Venezia also. Well, let's get into the replay and I'll show you how the Gorizia does it. Hello and welcome to the Gorizia review. Gorizia is the Tier 7 premium Italian cruiser. Now we have an interesting team. We have a Graf Zeppelin Omono, the new Pan Am cruiser, Tier 7, New Orleans, Gorizia, GA Macri, and a Cossack. No battleships. And I'm thinking, I'll head north. Okay, I'll head north.
This is the base commander. We expect the arrival of transmit and attack squadrons. Strike aircraft will ensure support during the embarkation and evacuation.
Because someone needs to go north to help kill these cruisers, right? Right.
Direct route for the aircraft in the specified sectors. Awaiting instructions.
And like, a cruiser's not ideal for this mission. And yes and no.
Enemy destroyer sighted.
I can get a nice 3K salvo there. That DD's gone. And it's basically just about taking down the damage and doing the damage. It's been a long day. Now, I'm not gonna... usually you would shoot AP at a Dallas, but sometimes you miss a Citadel, so I'm just deciding to stick with SAP. Because it's a little bit more consistent damage. That way you don't get overpinned, you're just going to get chunk damage. Now, this is where it gets kind of slightly interesting. Okay? I'm not detected. Now I'm detected at 1747. But I don't. But you were look, and I should be detected. But it's like the Dallas took forever to show up. I think when I was doing this, I didn't notice him when I was like looking for what's spotting me until I noticed it. I did just shoot because it's like, well, yeah, I don't have the complete, accuracy, but it's whatever. So 5K, not much. And yeah, I could load AP. If I had, Luigi Sanzanetti, it'd be a lot easier for sure. I'd be switching back and forth. But this is my Adriatico captain, which needs retraining. So it was like a good opportunity to retrain him. But I mean, see, it's not like AP damage or Citadel damage, but it's, it's consistent damage. And it's still pretty painful with Gunfeeder because it's still almost 9-second switch time. Which is why Sanzanetti would, of course, be the better captain because he gets a better ability to switch. Now, we do lose the Aoba. And I see the Amonos coming, north. And I'm like, well, if he wants... And he's like saying this area, this area. And I'm thinking, I had this. Whatever. You can go take it. If you want that and wanting to come up and help, you can have the damage. I'm just going to go to the heal circle. Plus the CV, so it's like, why would I want to, attack and shoot and do that? I mean, there's really no point. Like, watch out for cruiser spawn in your face, which he is true because they will spawn right in his face. The good news, if he picks the right spot, the Macri could be in a very prime position, very beautiful position to get great damage.
General quarters. The aerodrome is in maximum danger. An enemy ship has entered the base area. Destroy her.
Spotter returning to ship.
And I get a nice little 3K. Again, the SAP does amazing against DDs, but very little shells. If you can get like a pure broadside with SAP on any cruiser, or any DD, you could do at least 10,000. That's why the Venezia is such an amazing ship. It slaps DDs. I mean, we are going to lose that building. I think. Pretty sure we did. Yeah, we did lose the building, but I got the Clemson down. Now, if you don't get the Clemson down if you can't get him down and he kills both those buildings, he will start targeting the airfield. would you look at how the AP just, the sap just does beautiful damage. 5 shots, 5 solid pins, and boom, second kill. 36,000 damage. Not much. Right now, I'm just trying to get my health back up. Then I'm gonna go out and fight. And you can see at this range, the shells are pretty, you know, floaty. So, there's that. But, not like a, like, okay, what's that word? It's not a deal breaker. You can still shoot. And you can see I'm doing pretty consistent chunk damage.
Warship commanders, transport aircraft have arrived. Proceed to evacuation. Protect the aerodrome until embarkation is finished, and the transport.
And I can see where the cruisers are going. Or the planes are going. Why did I say cruisers? I know where the planes are going. So I'm going to go attack, because it's going to take, between the time that we can shoot them from like this position, it's like at least a minute lost. So I'm going to push out and actually try to bait them to shoot me. I don't know why the Graf dropped his planes like that. I don't really know. I feel like that was just a loss. He wanted to get the planes, but it's like they're going to pass right over your CV anyway. So there's really no point. It'd be better off to spot the
An enemy aircraft carrier was spotted in the combat area.
cruisers down there for us. Okay, but you can see the Graf's planes, which are on the far. Okay, watch those planes. He's gonna sail straight through all that AA and go for the CV. Yes, the Graf is pretty fast, but he's gonna lose a good amount of his planes for like very little, you know, to save for it. And like saying, what's the plan? Hug the repairer and try to blitz each group? Well, it's never, that's like the worst thing you can say in a channel. I mean, that's like ranked saying, what's the plan? And ranked, when you say, what's the plan, it's like, oh boy, it's going to be one of those matches. It's going to be a hard match. Because it is concerning. I mean, when you say, what's the plan in ranked, it's like, it is worrying. And it is slightly worrying in ops.
Enemy destroyer detected. Enemy cruiser sighted. Enemy destroyer detected. Smoke screen set.
And I had the range to shoot that CV, but you know the CV wasn't dropping a fire, so and apparently I take torps, I think, from the Omamu.
Attention. We intercepted enemy.
And I pick up the
Enemy destroyers have been sent to disrupt the repair base.
cruiser.
Not allow them to capture the repair base.
Enemy cruiser destroyed. Enemy cruiser sighted. Ship is on fire.
And And I'm just letting the fire so that they load AP and I can just bounce the AP. I was gonna go right for a drive-by, but then, you know, they shot into, so it's like the second one wasn't really worth it. And our Pan Am is just destroying it, so like, well, let's just go back for the CV then. And our CV spent a lot of time. He really wanted that CV, but I'll be honest. Graf is not a CV you want to snipe in. And I just picked that guy up because it's like, now look where our Graf is going. He literally drove into the, you know, the atoll and then drove back out. Right into all those enemies. Why?
The ship is on fire.
Now, again, I let the fire burn. One, I don't have a DCP. And two, because I want to let him shoot AP so I can bounce the AP off my bow. He gets a little chunky a little there. But, like, our Graf is basically dead. Against the North Dakota, Oman, and Cleveland, we can't protect him. So he's on his own. And even I know a Graf can't defend himself. You see me bouncing the AP right there? I should have kept that fire burning, but yeah.
Whiskey is finished. Is no longer
The Graf is like slowly moving forward.
Enemy battleship detected.
And I'm just focusing down these DDs. Just trying to get the damage on these DDs.
Enemy destroyer detected. Enemy cruiser.
I wish I had torps on this thing. Torps on the Gorizia would be nice. I pick up that DD,
Enemy destroyer blown up.
angle, and bounce the AP. That was just a bad shot, but still.
Torpedoes to starboard.
The Bolognese picks up that.
The ship is on fire.
I have sap loaded.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
I'm holding. Can I get a nice 7K salvo on that?
Destroyer.
That's what happens when sap meets DD. Boom.
Smoke generator started.
And the Graf goes down. I mean, they kill basically everything on that side. Besides the North Coast. And I'm just shooting the DDs right at this point. Because it's like I have the range. I have, you know, them in my gun sight. So it's like just slowly whittle them down. There goes the Farragut.
Enemy destroyer foundered.
I mean, I'm danger close to the Cleveland and the Missouri, so it's like, it's scary. There goes the Macquarie to the Benson. Now most of the team is basically retreating into the heel circle at this point. Amamu picks up the North Coast, so good on him. I get a nice, another 3K good salvo on that. Now you can see the Cleveland guns are slightly turning, and then they turn back. But I have one still shooting at me, one looking at me, and that's what worries me. And you can see the Missouri's turning his guns, and it's like, uh-oh. But then they turn off me, so it's like, I got real lucky. Solid 4K. And it's like, when you always want the Citadel, but it's always the last shell. It's never when you first hit. It's never when you first hit. I'm at 127,000, 8 kills, and I'm just gonna shoot sap into the broadside of this Missouri. 3K. Nice little 5K there. It's not going to be like big salvos. Because it is a Gorizia. If it was a Venezia, it would be pretty bigger salvos. Let's be honest. But you gotta aim for that upper structure, for sure. Of course, saturation is gonna take in, but... But again, you see, it's just consistent damage. And I'm not gonna get a follow-up shot. But, you know, we get a solid, clean...
Good show.
We clear them all out. It's basically a clean sweep. 147k. Not bad.